Welcome back, everyone, to the lineup. After that heated debate, we have more college football, so it should be very entertaining. We're going to start with some surprises. Jake, who surprised you? What surprised you week 2?
It wasn't a team, it wasn't a player, it wasn't a coach. It was a league statistic that jumped out at the page. 8 games over the weekend and were decided by 60 or more points. That's the most in college football history in a single day since the AP poll, which started in 1936. 3 teams, FSU, Alabama, and Ohio State, won by 70 points. The combined score of those 8 teams was 561-23. And that just really shows you where college football is these first couple of weeks. These big Power 4 schools are willing to pay a ton of money for smaller schools to come down and for those ease-in games. And I'm not a fan of that. I think it's college football. Make it more competitive. Make those beginning week games more competitive. Those Texas, Ohio State games, those Oklahoma, Michigan games, and really just up the stakes. Because now you've got teams, those couple teams that sneak into the college football playoff, they have 2 losses. You add those competitive games at the beginning, then you give an 8-4 team a spotlight, and with their resume, hopefully sneak in.
I think that's a great take, and I really think each team in the Power 4 conferences should have to schedule one at least outside of their conference still in the Power 4 game.
I like that. My only question is, if your goal is to make more matchups like Texas, Ohio State, I don't think there's enough teams to go around, especially if you're an SEC team or Big Ten team required to schedule out of conference. I don't think there's enough great teams to go around for those top-ranked teams at the start of the season. That's just the way I feel.
Well, they shouldn't be playing
years ahead. So
sure, yeah.
They shouldn't be playing teams like FIU.
Listen,
but it's also a big opportunity for those programs to get money to help boost themselves in the long run.
True, but keep those teams on their level. Keep those small schools playing against each other. Make it more competitive.
Fair enough. Krog, what do you got? Surprise.
I have a result from week 2, and it is Illinois taking down Duke 45-19. Talk about a blowout. And it was all in the second half. It was 14-13 at the half. You're like, okay, this game's going about as expected. Illinois was expected to win the game, but not by much. And then they outscored the Blue Devils 31-6 coming out of the break. And Duke had 5 turnovers in this game. I don't know. Again, you can say it was Duke looking bad. I think it was Illinois looking great. And I had doubts about them coming into the season. They were ranked number 12. I thought that was outrageously high. I didn't have faith in Altmaier and company, but they looked phenomenal. Altmaier, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Can't really get much better than that. I think Illinois is a contender in the Big Ten. Not that I think they're one of the best teams in the Big Ten, but with a solid Big Ten record, they don't have the hardest of schedules in that conference. They do play Ohio State at home down the line, but they only have one other ranked matchup on their schedule right now. This is a team that could be playing in the Big Ten championship game.
Ryan, I am completely with you. They were 2.5-point favorites, and they win 45-19. 2 words, Luke Altmaier. He is a dog. Like you said, he played great, and they have Brett Bielema, experienced coach for Wisconsin in the Big Ten for a long time, actually in the West as well, and Arkansas, and now he's here with Illinois, and we'll find out if they're the real deal when they go to Bloomington, Indiana in a few weeks. We'll see what happens there. So now, under the radar teams, Krog, who's under the radar?
This is a team that's been getting a lot of slander in the last few weeks, especially after week 1, and I think that people were a little bit too quick to jump on the hate train for this team, and particularly its coach. Alabama is getting outrageously disrespected right now by the media at large. Listen, week 1 was a bad loss. Florida State, you did not expect them to win that game. However, let's look at the context that we know now. Florida State is currently ranked inside the top 10. They're probably going to finish as a top 10 team at the end of the season. I personally think they're my pick right now to win the ACC.
I agree. I completely agree.
And I think that at the end of the day, when the season's over, this week 1 Bama loss to FSU at home, that's not going to be oh my goodness, what was wrong with Kalen DeBoer? It's going to be, well, FSU was just that good this year. They're back. They're back to being a contender. I think that's where the Seminoles are, and I think that people were too quick to pin it on Bama, whereas the story is more, I think, about Florida State. And I think that, Alabama certainly has the talent to still be one of the top contenders in the SEC. There's no reason for them to not be respected as one of the top dogs in that conference still. And people are just dumping on them left, right, and center.
I like the take, but they're going to have high expectations. And with DeBoer, he's a great coach. Washington, he took with Penix to the national championship, lost to Michigan. However, with Kalen DeBoer, they will never be a Saban or Bryant team.
Okay, that's a ridiculous standard to hold them to, though.
That's the standard. That is the standard.
I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair.
It's
unfair.
I'm not saying it's not, but
Coming
it is
from
the
Patriots
standard.
guy, people holding Mayo and Vrabel to the Belichick standard, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's
It's
how it is.
completely unfair, and it
It's
shouldn't
the
be that
business.
way. Kalen DeBoer is a very good coach, and I still have faith in him to get things done with Bama.
Well, Alabama's a team that gets talked about a lot. One team that hasn't got talked about a lot, and I'm really excited for this, it's the Baylor Bears. They are returning the second most production, Joel likes it, in the Big 12. They had the opportunity to boost their resume early in the season. They did so. They beat SMU, a college football playoff team last year in double overtime. They play ASU in a couple weeks, who had an embarrassing loss to Mississippi State. That's another team that was in the college football playoffs. After that, they just got to keep the train on the tracks. Their hardest teams after that Arizona State game, Kansas State and Utah. And you talk about Sawyer Robertson, he's balling 400 plus through the air in the first 2 weeks of the season each, and with 7 touchdowns. This is a team that I think will win the Big 12 and will be in the college football playoff. Well, who's proven themselves the Big 12?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Big 12 is awful.
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Kansas State was favored. They lost week 1. Then Arizona State was the favorite. They lost. It's wide open.
Have I argued that
You have
any
not.
of those teams is good?
No.
No, I perfectly understand your take on Baylor winning the Big 12 because the Big 12 is so bad that Baylor is good enough to win it.
Yeah.
Listen, the fact that they just beat SMU, and both teams aren't ranked, but SMU has more votes received than Baylor. Come on.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. My team is the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying that they're going to make a run to the Big Ten championship, but they have an extremely favorable schedule besides Penn State in November at Beaver Stadium. But
They could win that.
All right. I am looking at them to beat Michigan in a few weeks. They play at Memorial Stadium. Underwood is not going to be ready. Give me Raiola and the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, I will happily bet against you on that game, with all due respect.
All right, Jake, let's move on. Who or what is overhyped? This could be, generally speaking, big picture or just right now.
Well, you like them, Krog. I don't. It's Notre Dame. And a couple of downsides for Notre Dame. The first, let me speak. They are an independent team, and that's a downside because you don't have the opportunity to get that automatic bid by winning your conference. They lost week 1 against Miami, and they play number 16 Texas A&M this weekend. If they lose that game, the rest of their schedule, it's a cakewalk. And if they go 10-2, you look at their resume, well, they lost to 2 very good ranked teams. They won against nobody. And if the Fighting Irish lose this weekend, there's no way they can make it in the college football
your whole
playoff.
argument is based on an if. I'm going to take you back to last season where their only loss was to NIU, which was one of the most embarrassing upsets in college football history in recent memory at the bare minimum, and they still finished as one of the top seeds in the college football playoff, despite being an independent team. Yeah, that hurts them. They don't get an automatic bid, but I mean, honestly, who cares? And if they're only lost at the end of the season, I perfectly expect them to win against Texas A&M. I think it's going to be the same script where they run the table from here on out to the end of the regular season. And if their only ranked loss at the end of the season is to Miami, who's currently inside the top 5, they have a better resume than they did last season, and that's where I think they'll be. Right. Texas A&M is not winning that game.
What do you got, Croak? Who's overhyped?
USF. This team is not anywhere close to the 18th best team in college football.
That's not a fun pick.
I don't care if it's a fun pick.
Not
It's called facts. There is no way that Alabama is a worse team than South Florida. I want to hear either one of you try to argue to me.
Their record says so.
Oh, their record. Please. The committee doesn't judge on record, as was shown 2 years ago when Florida State got screwed when they put Bama in with 1 loss over an undefeated conference champion. This committee has shown itself to care about quality of team. USF has shown nothing to say that they are a better team than Alabama. I don't care that you beat Florida. Florida's not a good team. I don't care that you beat Boise State. Boise State's not a good team. Alabama lost to a team that is going to finish top 10 in the country and I think is going to win the ACC. Absolutely disrespectful to the Crimson Tide that a team in USF is ranked higher than them. They do not deserve it whatsoever.
Well, if I'm on the college AP poll committee, I'm looking at how many ranked teams did whoever beat. USF, 2. Alabama,
Well, then you should
0.
be looking yourself in the mirror and not ranking these teams that are not good. Florida should not have been 13.
I
Boise
think
State
it's
should not
safe
have
to
been
say we
ranked.
got a big Tide fan here. Now, my overhyped pick, it's a team that everybody knows lives rent-free in my head. They're about as high in the poll as you can get. I'm talking about the Penn State Nittany Lions. I think they are incredibly overrated. I don't think Aller has played well, and I don't think he fits the system that Penn State has. I think Trace McSorley, you look at him, that was when Penn State has really thrived in the last decade with the RPO. Aller does not run it as well as a guy like McSorley does, albeit he's more talented as a quarterback.
Sure.
And listen, 3 receivers, all transfers, they're all starting. The chemistry's not there. It is not there. If you watch the film, it's not
Okay,
there.
question.
And James Franklin.
Is your overrated take based on their talent or their coaching? Because it seems like it's based on their talent.
Well, their talent has something
And
to
I'm
do
going to
with
disagree
it.
with you. I
They're
think
not
that
the most
they're. I
talented
think.
team.
I think that they're up there with one of the most talented teams. I think the only reason that's going to. The only thing holding Penn State back is their coach and their quarterbacks playing big games. But I don't think they're overrated right now. I think they deserve that spot. And that's
think
crazy coming from this side of the table on this, but I think that's where it is.
I think it's a combination of coaching and playing, but they are not the second best team in the nation. They will lose to Oregon, and that's what I have. That's what I have. Well, that's all we have for the lineup, episode 1. I hope everyone enjoyed, and we will see you next week.